Hi everybody, I'm Jesus.
I'm Anna.
And we are Shea Nunez. I'm a musician.
I'm a painter.
And we're here to just give you a quick update as to what we've learned this month, what we've been up to, and to give you a nice little reminder what's on the horizon.
So let's talk about what we've been up to lately,
Yes.
Jesus. What have you been doing for the last month?
So if you haven't seen any of the other videos that we've talked in the last couple months about how we've transitioned a lot of our energy into our creative pursuits. So with me, I've been working on a bunch of music. I have a solo project called Jesus, Hayzus. A little bit of a longer story as to why I named it that.
Just give us the story.
Okay,
it's funny.
fine. I'll give you the story. People have been messing up my name my entire life. I'm a Hispanic living in America. Well, my name is Jesus, which is Jesus in Spanish. People have always heard it, and they didn't understand how do you spell that.
How to spell it? Yeah.
What is Hay? It just sounds like a weird phonetic name, Hay something. So fast forward, we're working on the house. I have somebody give me a quote, and they misspelled my name so poorly.
Oh, it was tragic.
They spelled it Hayzus, even though.
You should put a little screenshot of the message.
Yeah, even though my name was in the email address that he typed in.
It was a little sloppy.
Yeah, sloppy, real sloppy. So I feel like it's a fun, I mean, I guess it's not too much of an inside joke now, but
it's
a joke for me. Yeah, it's a play on my name of you're just gonna keep misspelling it.
Yeah.
So I'm just gonna misspell it for you.
And the music you've been working on this month has been really good.
Yeah, I finished a bunch of songs. To have them recorded, mixed, they're ready to get sent off to get mastered, which is the last little step.
Now you can start releasing them.
Yeah, and I've got the stockpile of some other songs that I'm very excited to finish.
I love it.
So anyway, that's what I've been up to.
Yeah, and I've been making a lot of artwork. The biggest thing that happened in the month of January was I launched a collection of prints. I've had prints made of my artwork in the past. Excuse you.
Pardon me.
I've had prints made of my artwork in the past, but I've never self-produced them. I've never made them for myself and released them through my own website. So this was my first venture into that territory. And I'll be honest, I was intimidated by this for a long time.
Yeah.
I was really reluctant to figure this out. But I did it. I finally did it. I conquered my hesitations, my fears, and I released 4 really quality prints that I'm very proud of. And they're on my website, annanunez.com. And yeah, and now I'm creating another collection to release of originals. And I'm just kind of still plotting out my year and trying to figure out what do I want to do from here. But yeah, I've been having a really good time with that. I've been pouring some love and energy into my blog, which has been really sweet. I think sometimes we get so caught up on making these very quick bursts of content for Instagram, and it kind of has a quick moment and just immediately vanishes. So my approach for social media and for my email this month has been a little bit different. And I've been having a lot of fun trying to make content that can last a little longer. So I have a Color of the Month blog series that I started.
It's been really cool.
I've been emailing my list a lot, trying to give them all the love first, and then social media. So that's been what I've been up to. It's been really nice.
Yeah.
And then for Shea Nunez, we did something this month.
Tell us about it.
We reopened our branding blueprint course, which is a branding course for creatives to help you develop a brand for yourself and establish a presence online to just get you rolling so that you can start you can start bringing your ideas to life. So that course opened. It has a new monthly membership structure, which makes the price point way more accessible than it used to be. It used to be $800 for a year access, and now you get to kind of choose how long you want to be a part of the course and just pay $75 a month. So,
$75 a month.
Yeah. So those are all the exciting things we've been working on. It hasn't come without our moments of creative, I don't know, regular doubts and fears and, worries about money, but we're rocking it, we're doing it.
Yeah.
And we hope to encourage you through all these things that we're doing. So
Yeah.
What have we been learning? Good segue.
It's a good segue.
What have you been learning? We have one for each of us.
Yes. All right. So in the process of making my music, right, I'm creating I'm not only just writing the song, so I'll write the lyrics, melodies, but I'll also record everything by myself, with the exception of drums, which my friends have been helping me out with.
Go down.
Bass, vocals, like doing all of this, mixing it all within like my little 10 by 10 bedroom here. And when you're creating something, I think it's easy, especially when you spend a lot of time just focusing on it and you're really babying that thing. It's very common to know something in your mind, but to doubt it in your stomach, in your heart, in your gut. So for me, something that I've realized is I might have the belief of that this is a good thing, like these songs are good, but something in my heart makes me doubt it, right? And I think that's a common thing, especially as creatives, where we're like,
This reminds me of like the cycle, the creative process cycle that you were joking about the other day, where you start a project and you're like, I think this is the best thing I've ever made. And then you're like, I don't know about it. And then you're like, actually, I think this is the worst thing I've ever made. And then you like approach it again. You're like, no, it's good, it's good.
Yeah,
It's
for
like,
sure.
That happens with like everything.
Yeah, with that disconnection between your heart and your heart and your mind. I think the way that we can bridge that gap is by taking action, by putting ourselves out there, by setting deadlines to release your music, to release your project, to finally like create the branding for the project that you're working on that you've been putting on the back burner for such a long time. You're like, maybe one of these days I'm gonna finally put it out. Listen, I feel that way, and it's a very common feeling. So I think too, sometimes that lack of action is a lack of belief, and sometimes we get it in our mind of like, yeah, I know, my friends told me this thing is actually good, but somehow there's a disconnect between these two things.
Yeah.
And I think the way to bridge that gap is by taking action sometimes.
Taking a step forward anyways.
Taking a step of action and boldness, courage to say, I'm not going to allow my self-doubt to stop me from actually doing that thing.
Yeah, you're almost telling your little fear voice in your head no by just setting a deadline or saying, I'm going to post this anyways.
Right.
Or, which can be scary. But
Yes.
you've been learning that a lot.
So I think it's especially true at the beginning phases because there's so much self-doubt, and there's also so many paths that you can go down.
Yeah, you're like still figuring it out, so of course you would doubt a bit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the intimidation of like, well, should I even try? There's so many options.
Or worse, everyone's doing it, so should I even do it?
Right, and those are all of that is self-doubt, and I really think the way to overcome that is by taking action.
Yeah, and putting your blinders on a little bit. Saying like, I'm just gonna do this thing.
Yeah.
Which leads well to my lesson that I feel like I've been learning a lot. I feel like in the last month, I've been really like mulling on the idea of just like the power of consistency. Like I almost think consistency sometimes outweighs the skill even. It's just like if you can just dedicate yourself to being consistent, to making consistently, to sharing consistently, to like pursuing your work actively on a regular basis. I think if you can do that and make that commitment, it's like you're going to succeed eventually. And I think it's just the fact that sometimes that road ahead can feel daunting. You don't know how long you're gonna have to grind, so you almost feel too scared to even begin. And so I feel like if you can just commit in the beginning stages to say, whatever winding road path this road leads me down, I'm gonna at least stay on it. I think you can give yourself kind of a leg up, kind of a boost of encouragement to say like, maybe my work won't be the best, but I'm gonna stick to it. And you know, you're guaranteed to see progress in your work. And this reminds me of a story that a really good friend of ours told us, and I've shared about it in an email before, but a good friend of ours, Tony.
Love Tony.
He's like a legit like famous cellist. He played on a bunch of like John Williams movie scores like Titanic and E.T. and just like crushed it as a cellist throughout his whole life. He's 73. And Jesus and I have become friends with him. And he told us one time in a coffee shop, he's like, everyone out in LA, everyone who like doesn't make it, like, you know, striving for their dreams, he's like, all of them just gave up a day too soon. He's like,
it hit, that line hits every time.
It hits every time. He's like, the only reason they didn't make it is because they gave up a day too soon. If they would have stayed another day, they could have made it. And that's really, really resonated with me. And especially with my artwork, it's really stuck with me, of this idea that like for example, my print collection, it didn't slay in the sense of like, I didn't sell like tons and tons of prints, but I sold some. And even going into the print launch, I thought, you know, I'm not gonna let my identity as an artist live and die on this one print launch. Because I know going into this print launch that I'm going to launch more prints. I'm going to keep creating my artwork. And that gave me a boost of confidence to feel like this can go however it needs to go, and I'm still gonna be an artist. I'm still gonna keep creating artwork.
Yeah, almost another way of looking at it is the approval of this group of people will not determine. The approval of this one thing with this one group of people is not going to determine my long-term dream and my long-term
and commitment
vision.
Like, I am going to be an artist. I'm going to keep creating artwork, and however that looks it can shapeshift over time. But yeah, that's really been on my heart lately. I think especially in these early stages, it's easy for me as well to like doubt, like, I'm not like totally crushing it right out the gate. What does that mean about me? Am I even doing it right? And you know, it's important to keep, you know, going back to those reminders of like, no, you just have to stay in the game. You just can't quit, because if you're not playing the game, you're not going to win it. So you have to at least be playing. But that's been my lesson.
That's really, really good.
Thanks. So that's the end of my TED Talk. But yeah, and I feel like I've gotten some emails too, like in my like art email list community, like some people talking about picking their artwork back up and getting back into it. And there's a lot of intimidation. I feel like we all share that as creatives. So I just wanted to.
It's interesting how rejection plays such a big part in our lack of action sometimes, in our fear of, should I even try? Should I put myself out there? I don't know. It's just such a fascinating.
It's thinking about what other people think. And then, but the reality is that no one is thinking about you. Like it's a funny like double-edged sword where it's like.
Well, we're just.
It's a paradoxical thing. It's like
everybody's so focused on themselves.
Like
for better or for worse, and it isn't necessarily to say that everybody's selfish. It's just. I just gotta live, everybody's just living their own life.
So if you can acknowledge that like no one's really watching, no one, like it's okay if you just try, it's very freeing.
And freeing to like experiment and try new things.
So those are our lessons.
To which I think even, it'll transition into talking about Branding Blueprint real quick, is that I think Branding Blueprint has been really, really beneficial for a lot of our students who have wanted to try something, who've had that idea of like, I have this side hustle, I have this business, I want to create a new logo, I want to figure out my color, something about it isn't clicking. Or the other thing is, I feel like I'm afraid of putting myself out there because I'm going to be rejected, because of, you know, people aren't going to think that my thing looks as good or isn't as legit. And it's been so beautiful. So genuinely beautiful for us to see people gain that confidence and see a transformation in their brand. In a way that helps them feel confident enough to like, I'm gonna put it out.
Because the reality is like, because the reality is like when you go to start an endeavor and you go to present yourself as a professional creative, there are some check boxes that you need to check off. Like there are some things that you can do right out of the gate that are going to make you feel more legit. That's going to give your business a face. You know, that's what a brand is. It's really this like first impression. It's a face. It's, you know, it's putting yourself out there. And so we're so passionate about helping people with branding, because that shouldn't be a big hurdle. That should be a quick, make your logo, pick your colors, and then go do the work. Go build the career, go put out the artwork. But that can feel intimidating if you don't have like all your like ducks in a row. And so that course really walks you through those steps to just like establishing all of these things so that you can feel really good about the way you're showing up, and then you can go do the work. So.
And I will say there's people that have taken it too that are designers, and then a lot of people who are not designers who felt very intimidated and realized by the end of the whole process, like, holy crap,
we make it so like
I made something that looks so legit.
Even the most tech resistant person can take this course and create a brand from it. So that's our branding blueprint spiel. That is available. That's open and waiting for you at the link in our description. I was gonna say link in our bio. At the link in our description. So check that out if you're someone who needs to brand yourself, establish an online presence. We hope you found this update video encouraging wherever you're at in your creative career, your artistic pursuits. We want to encourage you and challenge you to keep going, keep pressing on. Don't listen to the noise or the comparison because your work matters and your voice is needed in the world. So.
If you like this video, subscribe.
Yes.
Also, if you have any thoughts or questions, leave them in the comments. Also, I'm really curious. I want to hear what you're working on that you're gonna launch, or something.
I like it.
Something that you're gonna like overcome this month, or
what are you
something
gonna
that
do
you're
this
currently trying to overcome, something that you're working on this month.
That's good.
So tell us about it. I'm actually genuinely curious.
Let us know what you're working on, and we will see you next month. Bye.
Ta-ta.